I love you, Ali.
You always do. You always do.
Man, you're a sweet talker, bro. Cheers,
Can be
vodka.
sometimes. All right, so I think we're live. Veronica is going to be hosting the show, guys. Welcome everyone to the first AMA of Seed. Essentially, it's not the first AMA, but the first AMA after the launch. Just focus on Seed. I want to kind of get everyone more updated about our roadmap, about our vision of Seed, about the team that we're building, and how many massive doors we have opened now since literally a week ago, right? It's really, really insane. So happy to really dive into it. I think we have a video to show first. So when we're ready to do that, Veronica, you can just hit that.
Some projects move differently, quiet, unmistakable, the kind of growth you don't hear coming. You feel it. Seed is now live on Pineapple Dex. This is where the real growth begins.
Perfect, perfect. And before I introduce some of our team members, Karen specifically, I wanted to kind of address the, as you say, the elephant in the market. And before I do that, though, I wanted to also say about what the things we're doing that are huge, the doors that have opened. For us, Seed was always a brand, and it was for us a mission. It's quite a bold mission and bold statement to launch a token at this market. But what we wanted to show is how fast and how well can we actually build brands. So now we're in discussion of doing that with a lot of serious Web2 projects too. We're also going to have staking live. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about our 4 launches. To address the market here, we have 2 new hires, which I said we are going to discuss. They were supposed to join. Karen is one of them. Before I actually continue talking, Karen, maybe you want to give a bit of introduction there about yourself and your background, and I'll continue from there.
Yeah, sure, Ali. Yeah, thanks a lot. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the metaverse and the universe we exist in. I'm really thrilled that I've joined the Seed team as the Chief Marketing Officer. So stepping into the role with the mission of really taking Seed from its strong foundations that we have and really kind of creating a category-defining leader in Web3 growth, which is fundamentally different to any model that's out there. And we want to really become the sort of go-to growth partner, if you like, of any project with real substance. And so my kind of background, I've had about 20 plus years of marketing leadership experience, including the last 9 deeply kind of rooted in blockchain and DeFi. I've helped platforms in Web3 go from stealth to kind of, into the spotlight, and then MVPs from POCs, testnets to go into kind of multi-million-dollar ecosystems. So whether it was like driving TVL through DeFi strategies or launching developer cohorts to kind of ignite, if you like, layer ones that are just started out, my approach has always been sort of growth obsessed, I suppose, data backed and community first. So I'm also, I have to say this as well, I'm really also proud to be joining a kind of highly experienced and battle-tested team that we have here at Seed, a crew that's not only kind of, survive the volatility of the space that we're in, but really continues to build with conviction, clarity, and really kind of bearing in mind the longer-term vision that we have. That said, as we know in this space, it's never always plain sailing. So I've also been through some of the most turbulent moments in Web3, experiences that really tested not just the strategy of the project, but also the leadership under fire, and we survived and thrived through that. So what I really hope to bring isn't just my experience, but it's a playbook for kind of rapid, meaningful, and measurable growth in Web3. And so I come with that mission in mind, and with kind of, a strong network, kind of a toolkit that's built on sort of data, experimentation, and kind of relentless execution. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, Ali.
Thank you, Karen. Thanks for explaining it so well. Actually, I had a few questions, but you kind of just ticked all of them. So I would like to introduce also Rory now, since he's here. Hi, Rory. How are you doing?
Hi guys. Yeah, all good. Thank you, mate. How are you?
Very, very good. So Rory is our head of global and partnerships. So he's going to be spearheading partnerships globally in Web 2 and Web 3. Maybe Rory, you can give a little introductions about what you do, what you're working on right now, what you have done in the past, and just how you're going to be benefiting Seed as well.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, hi guys. I'm Rory. I'm head of global partnerships here at Seed. So we've been working on on and off for a few months now, more on a sort of an advisory type role, and now I'm on board fully to really build and grow the brand as we are sort of in that right direction. So we got some really big partnerships in the pipeline that we'll be announcing in due course. Hopefully early sort of Q1 next year. And we're also working on some really exciting new projects that we'll be bringing to the table. So very excited to be part of the team. Yeah, watch this space, guys.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. We have actually a few more people we're talking to, and that have joined, but it's very early stage, and they're very kind of focused on being onboarded. So I don't want to kind of drag them into an AMA now with 1,000 other things that's happening. But what we believe in is making sure that we can launch successful projects, and we're looking more into the Web2 approach, because I believe the whole space has shifted. And I believe we need more real teams with proper utility. And we've proven that with Seed, that within about 4 or 5 weeks of time, not only did we build a solid brand, but we managed to get some really solid team players onboarded. So we're getting a lot of projects approaching us at this stage. We're already preparing for the first 4 now. And we're talking about some really serious projects. And this is what Seed has opened. It opened the doors because people don't look at the chart all the time. And this is why a lot of people saying, oh, sorry, it didn't work out or something. But this is perfectly planned. You know, for us as a team and as a company that's going to be the driving engine to launch projects successfully, we're not only looking at the Web3 side, right? A lot of projects come to us and say, I want you to handle the Web3 side of things. But everything is combined with the Web2 and Web3. And teams like us that are not looking to make money out of the token and stuff like that, we are builders. We continue to build and we continue to grow, and this is what's going to happen. When a lot of other projects would crumble at such a scenario, we actually go against that ethos of like, oh, it didn't work, let's just move on. No, we're gonna make it work regardless. And the way we're gonna make it work is by having people such as Rory, Karen, and the other 2 people we're speaking to that will join probably the next week's AMA. They're all here, plus the Pineapple team are above everything, making sure that it's very smooth. So we're looking at about 15, 16 people already working on Seed, and nothing's stopping us. We all have the vision, we all understand it. Everyone is high level. So I'm super excited, man. I know I talked to Rory and Karen quite a lot, especially because we're all in Spain. So we sometimes meet up and stuff like that. And I'm super excited, man. Where the vision last week was completely different. And where a lot of people see failure, what I see is like an expansion of the vision, right? And it's just like a tree that keeps growing, essentially. So I'm super proud of where we're standing right now. I'm super proud of the whole team working, and maybe we can talk to them a little bit about some projects, Rory or Karen. I don't know if you guys are interested in doing that, or how much time we've spent on the book for the AMA.
Yeah, I could just run through a few of the projects that we're working on. We won't go into too much detail just yet
Please.
till they're launched. We'll keep everyone everyone sort of on tenterhooks for that. But yeah, we got some, like I said, we got some really good projects that we've been working on over the past few months. One of them is going to be more on sort of the Web2 sort of creator model industry, which is obviously absolutely huge right now. So we will be handling obviously majority or all of the Web3 side of the business, but we're also now going to be getting into obviously the existing Web2 space as well. So we'll be assisting with the teams, building out those teams, helping that actual business grow, whilst on the back end we'll be obviously making sure that the Web3 side is covered as well. So if you imagine Seed as not only a Web3 platform, but we're a complete utility, so we can work with any single business, whether that is Web 2 or 3, and really drive and bring value. So that's really exciting, and we've got the project that's going to be launching sort of in January, hopefully. Then we're looking at another project that will be hopefully Jan or maybe straight after, which is in the casino space. So another huge industry that's driven by consumer demand, both in Web 3 and Web 2. So we're going to be helping grow and launch a brand and a business in that space also. And many more. So we've got some very good, exciting sort of sports industry sort of models that we're looking at. So if you imagine Seed as a Web3 space, you've also got to look at the real world side of it. That's going to be even bigger as well. So we're a complete package.
Fantastic, Rory. I can add to that as well. You know, the way kind of I visualize it is that Seed really exists to solve like a very specific problem in Web3 that exists and is kind of overlooked at times. So too many projects sort of launch with the attention, but they fail really to take that attention and convert it into sustained growth. And that's kind of one of the main purposes of Seed. From sort of the angle that I see it as. So we're building Seed as sort of as a long-term growth engine, and you'll hear us talk about, you know, Seed as a growth engine a lot. So not a hype player that, you know, most of the kind of, sort of space kind of relies on. And we really are here to help projects from zero to relevance, and taking that relevance into durability and sustainability going into the future. So really the services are, you know, the best way to think about it, I can visualize it, is that many projects are at different stages. So say pre-TG projects, post-TG projects, and they've got a multitude of things they've done really well, and areas perhaps because of resources, perhaps because of expertise or experience, they can't actually address. And we are there to fill those gaps and really help those projects survive that. So at its core, Seed is a growth engine, and that's how we like to think about it. We work with projects that already have kind of a structure, but also if they don't have a structure, we can help them develop that. We take them into the launch, we take them into developing the narrative, we take them into the partnerships that are necessary to do that, communities in ways that really compounds, you know, over time, rather than burning out after the first few weeks of a launch. And as you know, a lot of sort of projects sort of put a lot of time and energy into the TG itself, thinking that's the end goal. But really, the way we look at that, that's kind of day one, really, of what we have to do. So you might be also thinking to yourself, what does that actually mean, a growth engine? It's not a launch pad. So helping projects beyond TGE involves many things, such as sort of, if you like, you know, the liquidity setup, the community coordination, the amplification, and also obviously the post-launch activities that all revolve around building a strong project that can sustain both market turbulence, as we can see and we're in now, and also to help them thrive beyond that. So it's very different to the model that you know many people have experienced, where you've got a variety of sort of organizations from the beginning of a project, say even an incubator, then an accelerator, then you've got a growth maybe, or I'll call it a marketing agency, and then you've got sort of strategic partnerships. You imagine Seed, we are all of those things in one, and we have the team to actually carry through and execute. So that's a little bit of a, I suppose, long-winded maybe explanation
No, I appreciate
of
that,
what
Karen. I
I
appreciate
think
that.
it is.
I appreciate explaining it like that. It's usually me that has to explain this, right? So it's a bit of a. It's nice where I can sometimes just sit back and I've got the guys that can just explain it a bit further, because I used to do the AMAs a lot of times of Pineapple. So whoever is new here, I'm the CEO of Pineapple as well, CEO of Seed. But every single hire we do is intentional for Seed to grow. So it's not for us, for example, at Pineapple to hold hands forever, but rather build a very solid team at Seed. And the business model at Seed is very simple. We launch tokens, we make money, and instead of actually having to rely on, and this is where the vision came in play really a couple of days ago, when one night I just sat in bed and I was like, hold on, Seed is going to be much bigger than I thought, even while the token was going down. Because for me, I'm not looking at the token or the chart or the valuation. I'm looking at the utility of the token, right? And if we play this right, where we're not reliant on any other person's ecosystem. We have an ecosystem that does everything in-house, right? We talk about everything, just like Karen said. We talk about treasury management. We talk about market making, everything through our experience in-house at Pineapple and at Seed, and the next hires their experience too. And we're talking about some really heavy hitters here, as Rory and Karen are themselves. This will allow us to attract projects at a much higher level. It will allow us to build projects that are most likely going to be successful, and we are going to be at the forefront of it. We are not a launchpad, like Karen is saying. You look at launchpads, they're all dead right now. You look at incubators, they're not incubating projects, right? I think there's a gap, because I've worked with a lot of them. I've worked with a lot of launchpads, a lot of VCs, a lot of funding. I've worked with a lot of incubators, so I understand how they work. And sometimes you look at $100 million projects and you think they have everything going on, like operation, and you're shocked. You go to this agency, and then they sell you the dream, and suddenly it's not good enough. And it's always disguised as, that's Web3. But what we want to do is, at Seed, is we want to take the expertise from Web2, right, and how professional everything is, and how everything is operating and smoothly, because Web2 businesses don't work like Web3 businesses. They wouldn't survive for a day, right? And we want to plug that into Web3. We want to change the scene, and I think we are one of the early ones. There are some bigger players in space that are doing this huge, right? We're talking about billions of dollars of valuation, but serious projects. That's what we want to get into, right? We want to be, my main vision goal is to be as fast as possible in 2026 to be a unicorn incubator, right? And I think we can do it with the team behind it. We're talking about people that have done it before. We've done it. We've supported billion-dollar valuations. No reason why we can't do it again. I don't want people to see Seed as like just this other incubator that's going to launch tokens once, twice, 3 times a month, and they don't care about these projects. No, all of them are serious utility projects, and we always try to expand our ecosystem. So, for example, we needed a way to hire very qualified people very fast. We then had Rory introduce us to his dear friend who owns a recruitment agency, which we made a deal with him, in the sense that any of these projects, we can now have a recruitment arm within Seed, somebody that's trusted, someone that will not F us over, because in Web3, you get that a lot of times, right? And we build everything around Seed, and the core structure are these 60 to 70 super talented people. On the outer layer, if you see like an onion, is Pineapple, right? And then the brands are just coming out of them. The brands are, we launch fast, but we launch successful. That's the aim here. A lot of these projects we also talk to, sorry, I'll let you guys speak actually. These guys are not looking to make money out of the token. It's very important to understand these guys are all in it for utility, and therefore we can always improve our strategies. And I'll let you guys speak now as well.
No, I was just going to add on to that, Ali. I was just going to say, look, the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day. So we've been brave enough to launch Seed as a token, even in this market, right? So you won't see anybody else taking a step like that without the confidence of the backing and the structure that we've got. So this isn't about tokens. This is about building a real business within the Web2 and Web3 space, right? So we don't look at it as we're taking a gamble. We don't look at it as we're being affected by the market. The market is what it is. It will do what it will do, and everybody will just deal with it as it comes. So we're building a real solid foundation for a real push in 2026, with a view that everything is here right now. We're ready to go, and so we've got some solid partnerships. And we've got some solid projects already in works for the launch. And then it was just a case of going, when is the right time? Well, the right time is right now. So we don't wait. We don't, like Ali said, we act very, very fast. So we're in a position now. We have a whole ecosystem. Ali touched on it before. Well, we're looking to build teams. Well, we now have a recruitment arm within Seed, right? So we work very, very fast to get things in place to make sure that these projects are going to fly.
Fantastic. Not much I can add to you guys. Basically, I get a word in each place. So really, our kind of roadmap is intentionally like execution led, and execution focused. We're really prioritizing systems internally that could be kind of reused across multiple projects rather than one-off campaigns, which is what agencies do, what incubators do. So it's kind of a let's get started, and then the project stops, and then what did the team do? What's next after incubation? What's after acceleration? What's after a campaign to develop your brand, etc.? So we really step into there. So as I said, the roadmap is intentionally execution focused. The other key points I think I could add to what Ali and Rory have just said is really we're constantly onboarding new wave of projects in terms of the inflow, which is amazing. I have to say, I'm delighted by the number of inquiries we've had recently in the last sort of couple of weeks that I've been with Seed, expanding sort of partner and distribution relationships that Rory really explained well, and refining continuously our kind of, if you like, our launch and post-launch playbooks, because there's never a point that I think a project like ours has to say, well, we're happy with where we're at. If there's any improvements, we're I think wise enough to understand, to admit it, and we improve continuously, like a Japanese philosophy of doing business. And continuously also we try to strengthen the platform side of Seed, which scales beyond any single project. So that's all I wanted to add, really.
Perfect, thank you. So Veronica, I'm going to answer some questions, some technical parts on why you should be holding Seed and more about staking, and then maybe you can throw us 2-3 questions that you find are appropriate for this AMA, and then we can answer them after. Staking is going to go live very, very soon. I don't think it's going to be live before 2026 because of Christmas and all that sort of stuff. Everyone works hard, but we're not slave drivers. Everyone is going to enjoy their holidays and stuff like that. So hopefully in January we're going to have staking live. The good thing is that the main utility of staking, outside of you getting 15% up to 15% APY, which you don't get anywhere in the space guaranteed, you will be able to access a mansion if you're in tier 2, 3, or 4. We're going to announce that more. And for you to do that, as you can stake different periods, you can stake for 1 month, 3 months, or 12 months. The longer you stake, the more multiplier you get on your points. And the points are the ones that get you into the mansion. We would answer any questions because we're used to it from Pineapple. It's the same system. We didn't want to overcomplicate it. I know a lot of people from the Pineapple community are probably listening into this as well, so you guys already understand how that works. So we're going to announce the staking. We're going to announce the next projects coming very, very soon. We're working on final kind of agreements on which ones to launch first. But we've got a lot of projects that applied, and I keep saying this on every month's AMA. I'm like, the projects that are coming and applying to us are at a much higher level than it was last month, and I can say it this month again. And this is how at this stage as a startup, how can I see success? Is by us as an agency get an influx of applications that are high level, right? Because we are revenue generating business in the end of the day. This is why we created Seed in the first place. It might be higher risk, but the fact is that we now are actually quite surprised at the fact that the risk is going to be so low because these projects are such high quality. And we're going to make sure that when we launch these projects, they're actually at the stage where they can generate real revenue in the Web2 side of things. So when staking goes live, we're going to announce it. We're going to announce a lot of more projects. There's also going to be other utilities around the token, which is also going to be announced. In terms of price, guys, I don't like to talk about price too much. I think we need to be transparent here. And I'm not going to talk about market caps or so too much here because I shouldn't be. But following the initial phase, if you know already how we launched Seed, as part of taking Seed to the next level, we had a partner activated, which he ran a test group of KOLs outside of our existing stable-led KOL framework. And you can never pay KOLs fully in stable coins, obviously, because in Web3 everything's so expensive. But we did that as heavily as possible from our side. But the other KOL kind of management group that run that separate framework, there was an issue, and unfortunately, those KOLs significantly breached the selling rules and acted in bad faith. And we only found out after that, the management of these KOLs, for example, they were invested, the selling rules was breached. So we're running through that. We're asking them all to be fair and basically go back into the chart and make it square. But there's always going to be these things when it comes to token launching, especially in the beginning, where there's going to be high volatility. There's going to be some bad actors. We had a lot of them at Pineapple, right? And sometimes the distribution, you just need to kind of hold off, sit on the distribution. The way I see it is almost like you want to buy an iPhone for $1,000, you buy $1,000. You don't need another iPhone, for example, but it's at $300. Everyone's going to go and run at it. And that's how I see certain projects. Not every project, because I know in Web3, a lot of people will have gone burned. But the projects that have serious utility, like serious teams, such as Seed and the projects that we're going to be launching, it's a whole complete different play. We don't go the traditional route of, if the token doesn't succeed, we have to shut down our business, because we've got a whole Web2 aspect that generates revenue, which you don't have. Look at the incubators, the launch pads, the projects they're launching. I've seen it, $100 million valuation. They raised $10 million. A year after, you don't see them anymore. It's really, really weird. And we want to change that. We want to have projects that launch and, we can be proud of them. And the whole vision is that we would essentially at Seed then be supporting them and owning certain projects as well from a higher level perspective, advisory, director of boards. It's already happening with MotionX AI and all that sort of stuff. So the vision is much, much bigger than, hey, let's just be a launch pad and launch tokens in that sense. So that's me talking about staking. That's me talking about the price. I will unfortunately not talk much about the price anymore. But I think we can take in some questions, Veronica, and we can just see who's appropriate to answer these. While we're waiting, what's the minimum staking? So the minimum staking, there is no minimum staking, but at one point, if you stake too little, you're not going to get the utility. The utility, the biggest one is for you to, outside of you being able to get an APY, you're also going to be able to join the mansion. So with that mansion, you'll be able to get access to pre-sales to these projects. And we always look out for our community. We always make sure the deal is good. And if the deal turns out not to be good, we will always look out for them and make sure that something happens for the next launch. Because for us, community is everything. So you will be able to see a calculator and everything, and you will know how much you have to stake minimally to get whatever you're looking for, right? The more you stake, the more you get, essentially. Okay, that was already answered. Timothea, if you're going through the message, I can go through it myself. Solid ethos, appreciate it, Anna. What's the minimum staking? As answered out of the QLs. Okay, guys, doesn't seem to be many questions. Sometimes we get questions on Telegram or so. This is recorded, so everyone can listen back to it. Is there anything you guys would like to say? Maybe start off with Karen, and then we go with Rory before we end this.
Not really. I mean, what to expect? So expect consistent execution, more projects coming through Seed, more partnerships, and more proof that this model that we're going to be running really is beyond a single launch. And we're early by design, so our job is really to now build steadily, communicate kind of clearly, and let the results really talk for themselves. So that's, I suppose, my outrow.
Yeah, not really much more to add on to Karen there, but we're just very, very excited for what we're going to be announcing within the next sort of next couple of weeks and into the early parts of the new year. Some fantastic partnerships, some really, really good sort of Web3, Web2 integration models that we're going to show you guys what we're going to do. And I think it's going to be a brand new look within this space. So keep your eyes peeled, keep tuned in, ask as many questions as you like, guys, because we love questions. And yeah, we'll speak again soon.
Perfect, guys. You've heard from Rory, Head of Global Partnerships. You've heard from Karen, our CMO. Hopefully you will hear next week from a few other people. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I think we've got a big 2026 ahead of us. I'll not be working Christmas or New Year's. That's the biggest deals I've made last year for Pineapple, so I'll be working then. We've got a dedicated team, but it's going to be a bit more quieter during that time. Moderators are still active, community is active, so make sure to ask any questions you have and we will answer it. And yeah, again, 2026, super excited what's coming because the vision is much, much bigger. A lot of documentation coming your way as well. A lot of updates about new partnerships, new projects we're launching, and a bit of a different approach to Web3, which I think is going to be super refreshing to see. And we're seeing that already. We're getting people that are building projects at a very high level coming to us and saying, we want you guys to be part of this or support this that we haven't gotten before. So yeah, I'm happy to finalize the agreements with these lot and then start announcing them because I can say as much as I can say, but once you guys see the kind of quality of products we're going to be launching, I think a lot of people are going to realize, okay, see this. It's a big project. It's here for long term. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Rory, for joining. And we'll speak soon then.
See you all soon.
See you soon, guys. Bye.